What inspired these characters, this tale? I feel like there's a lot to unpack here. We're dealing with interracial love, same-sex love, racism, white power, white supremacy, slavery. Anything about this tale, these characters based on true events, true life? Please briefly tell us what inspired this story, ma'am.
This is my story, and it's a story of love.
And you are?
Frances Langton.
I see.
Though everyone expected it to be a story of murder.
Her own mistress, massacred right next to her.
When you put all of those things together in that one package, it sounds like a lot, but like a lot of us are all of those things at the same time in daily life. So for me, it was an opportunity really to imagine a character who was trying to reconcile all of those things in the 19th century. You know, for me, I've said before, it was like, I really wanted to put a Jamaican woman in Jane Austen territory. And there was something for me about the conflict, you know, the fact that, Britain has tried to distance itself from those dark and awful aspects of its history, and to an extent has been successful in doing so because it didn't happen on English soil. And so I thought, here is a character, Frannie, who enables me to bring that history right into the polite, civilized English drawing rooms and shake things up, you know, have her fall in love with the mistress, have her accused of murdering the mistress, have her insisting she didn't do it, but then being forced to defend herself in a genteel English courtroom, and see where the story goes from there. Like, it was truly, for me, that was a gift to write, because there's so much built-in tension there. And there's so much that I had not seen before in, like, you know, I was obsessed with Gothic romances, and there had never been a Gothic romance starring a Black woman as the center of her own love story. And I was obsessed with period dramas. You know, I drooled over Colin Firth in his version of Pride and Prejudice, and I'd never seen a Black woman center stage in one of those. So for me, it was really all about the power of being able to correct those wrongs, and it's high time, I think, that we did.
Very nice. And so on that note, Miss Carla Simone, what can you tell us about this journey that Miss Frannie is going to take us on?
In truth, no one ever expects any kind of story from a woman like me.
I gave you sanctuary, and you seek to repay me by taking what is mine. May I?
Very windy roller coaster for Frannie. So she's brought over from Jamaica, and she's like sent over to the Benham household where she's working as a maid, and she falls in love with Madame, and their love is a whirlwind. She falls deeply for this woman intellectually and physically because she's gorgeous, and it starts off with her being accused of murdering her and the husband. So yeah, it just really hits off right at the beginning. And Frannie doesn't remember what happened that night. She can't believe that she would be possible of killing the woman that she loves. And yeah, the audience are kind of going on this journey with her, trying to piece together what happened, kind of like have an insight into her background and the dark history that she has. And yeah, just go on this beautiful love story ride that she has with Madame. You know, it's her love awakening on the show. She's never experienced love before, so she's quite naive. She makes decisions that will frustrate people, but yeah, she's an incredible character, and she's very complex, and I enjoyed playing her.
Very nice. And over to you, Mr. Patrick. I'm reading here that you play Laddie Lightning. What can you tell us about Mr. Lightning, and how does he fit into Frannie's world?
Well, I think Laddie Lightning, I think his name is kind of like a really good depiction of the person that he is. I feel like he's a very striking character. Like, you know, he's described in the book as this kind of like, not to say that I'm any of these things, but handsome, tall, you know.
You are.
And very imposing. And I think, you know, he commands, you know, most any room he enters, and he has a motif in the story, and it's kind of show the world and expose George Benham for the man that he truly is. I think George Benham has depicted himself or has portrayed himself to be this really kind and benevolent man, you know, whereas Laddie sees otherwise, and he knows the truths, and his main motivation in the story is to kind of get those truths out, and he needs the help from Frannie to do that. So yeah, I think he has a very important role in this story, and again, it was just really, really great playing him.
A toast to your singing, dancing, smiling subjects.
I saw terrible things. Friday! But worse than the things I saw. This is death! For the things I did.
I like to think that there were a lot of like certain high emotional scenes were perhaps hard to shake at the end of shooting, right? Patrick and Carla Simone, question for both of you. Did either of you do anything special in terms of your process to prepare for these roles, these characters? Did you do anything special to help you fully occupy the headspaces of Frannie and Laddie Lightning? Question for you both.
I did my usual character work, or not usual, it's different every time, but as in I fleshed her out as a human being. I had the backstory from the novel, and just kind of, just created different things that create a human life, like the things she likes, favorite colors, favorite food, just kind of what makes her tick. And from then on, when I had Frannie as that person, to get to those moments came really naturally and really easy. It wasn't hard to tap into the dark parts of her journey. I quite enjoy it. I quite enjoy crying. I quite enjoy kind of tapping into that side. And I think because I'm quite used to doing it, it was pretty easy for me.
How about you, Mr. Patrick?
I think I share some of the same thoughts there. I actually do enjoy crying on stage, on stage and on screen as well. But I think for me, I with most of my characters, I love listening to classical music whenever I'm playing characters, and I like to create like mini solo dances. I learned that from my time in drama school with the characters I play. So those kind of like skills that I picked up were very useful with Laddie in terms of just like tapping into certain emotions and certain thoughts and certain feelings and stuff like that. So yeah, I had a great time, kind of, going on that route and playing with those different things and different styles and skills.
Very nice. So I want to throw a question back to you, Zara. What are you most excited about, audiences, especially us here in America? What are you most excited about us experiencing when we watch this series?
Well, 1, 2, and 3 would be Carla Simone. She knows I'm going to say it. She is the highlight of the show.
Oh, no. That was a Wigman episode.
Right? She is the absolute highlight. I mean, it would have been a disaster if the actor playing Frannie was a disaster. So it all stands or falls on her shoulders. And what a job. I mean, she's in almost every single scene and she really holds the thing together. I'm excited for people to discover that, I think she's one of the talents of her generation. So I'm just going to say I'm going to big her up. But I also want to give a shout out to Patrick, because we were equally lucky with our casting of Laddie, and I think they are electric together. Like, I just now as a writer want to write another project where we can get the two of them together, because it's magic on screen. So I'm going to say I really hope that American audiences will be captivated by our British Jamaican Carla Simone and by her chemistry with the other actors, including Patrick.
And on that note, like I said at the top of the interview, there are a lot of themes that you unpack in this story, right? So what are you hoping viewers are left either thinking about, talking about? I mean, is the Confessions of Frannie Langton? Am I saying that right? I know that word can be, pronounced different ways, that last name. Is there a cautionary tale, right? Embedded in this story that you're hoping we take away?
Yes, I mean, there's a cautionary tale. The whole thing, I hope it just works on the level of story, but it also should be working symbolically to get us to think about what have we inherited? What has been the legacy of history and education? You know, the way it tries to shut us out as Black people, the way our absence in literature and art and history is supposed to be telling us that we are valueless, and how we have to go on our own journeys of discovering our own self-worth, even in that void. So I hope it's all of that. But really, I hope, and the final frame always gets me. I always end in tears. That it gets people thinking about love and how important the process of experiencing genuine love from other people is. And by the way, people will be debating on Twitter whether this love is genuine between the two women. We get that, whether it could ever be because of the power dynamic. But more than that, for me, it's about learning to experience love for yourself. And I hope that's a really kind of resonant, tender message to leave people with.